Hey there, how are you doing today? I was thinking about this idea all of yesterday because I was just interviewed for a podcast episode that's coming up in a couple of weeks, and I will share that with you. And we talked about mom guilt. Now, we talked a lot about mom guilt coming from like the working mom perspective, but I wanted to talk about mom guilt, but also I wanted to ask your opinion. Do you feel like there's mom guilt and then there's health guilt? Because I feel like if there's any sort of guilt that I deal with personally, it probably fits in those two categories. So let me know, have you ever experienced mom guilt? Was there a certain thing that was happening that you were wrestling with? And maybe what are some ways that you actually can overcome this mom guilt yourself? What are some things that have worked for you? So we're going to talk about that today. And I'm going to share with you 3 questions that you can ask yourself when you're feeling sort of guilt in maybe a mom perspective or pursuing a healthy lifestyle perspective. And what 3 questions you can ask yourself to see where is this guilt coming from and how can we move past this? Because feeling guilty, there's probably some underlying things going on, and so it's good to be okay, where is this coming from? But we're not going to stay here. We're not going to stay in this guilt fest, because that's not healthy. Your mindset and how you are dealing with things internally are really, our health starts from within. So we can't ignore, what's going on inside our head. So we need to make sure that we are dealing with this and bringing it up to the surface and asking ourselves, why do we feel this way? So whenever you're feeling mom guilt or maybe health guilt, you're feeling I'm not doing my best, the very first question I would ask is, does this align with my values? What's important to me right now? And for me, that's honestly changed. Even from whenever I was, a 20-year-old, no kids, what was important to me then is maybe a little bit different than how I am today. And so that's okay that maybe our values change and everything. And maybe even my values as a mom of a newborn versus a mom of, a toddler and school-aged kids, or a mom of 1 versus a mom of 3. And so really understanding, and sometimes that takes some brainstorming, grab a notebook and write down what is important to me in my stage of life right now, what feels good to me, and when am I the happiest with my kids? When am I the happiest with my lifestyle decisions? When am I the happiest? What makes me feel like I'm aligned with my values? Because that's honestly what I feel like the guilt might come in, is when we're misaligned with some core value that we have. Now, if you ever studied about love languages and everything, my love language is quality time. And so I feel a lot of guilt if I don't spend quality time with the people that I love most. And so I've had to realize that's my love language, and that's not everybody else's love language. And so whenever people that I care about and that I would go spend time with, but if they're busy and they don't have time for me, it's not personal. So there's sometimes that as somebody who craves that one-on-one time and just as a mom, that's what I want. I want us to all be at home and I want us to all play games together and everything. But with our busy lives, sometimes that doesn't happen. And so sometimes I have to say, okay, well, this is my love language. How can I align that with the lifestyle that we have right now with 2 active kids? One's a toddler and the other 2 are school aged, and so how can I fit that love language into our life? And so that's whenever you might carve out, an hour a day or something like that, where you can have that one-on-one connection with your kids. But you have to understand that that's not for everyone. That's definitely my love language. And so that's something that for me to feel good and not have that mom guilt whenever I might have a lot of things on my to-do list. But if I make sure that every single day I have some one-on-one time with my kids, or have a time where we're going to sit down at the table, we're going to do an art activity together or something, then I feel like I've showed up for my kids in a way that maybe they are filling my cup because it's my love language too, but I feel like I'm being the best mom to them too, because that's something that I value. That's something that that is aligned with my love language and aligned with what is important to me. And so you can think about that as a mom, but as a healthy mom, you can think about your health and what matters most to you. And so sometimes, like there was a time when I really had to be strict about what I was eating and different ingredients and things like that. And so I was a little bit more strict because that was something that I was really trying to detox and just get back to the basics. So I was having a lot of symptoms that were not healthy. And so I was trying to like reset my body. But now I feel like, my life is crazy with 3 kids. But I feel like now I've learned there's some simple solutions. There's some simple ways that I can get back on track. And I don't have to be as strict. And so maybe my goal is the same. My goal is the same, to be a healthy mom, but maybe actions, I don't have guilt about certain things because I've realized I don't have to be as strict as I once was. But my value is I want to be a healthy mom, and so I don't have guilt. But if you're feeling guilt, then you have to know where that's coming from. So think about that. Have some brainstorm time where you can write down what is important to me, what matters most, what do I feel aligned with, and that's gonna look different for everyone. So that's question 1. The second thing is am I doing the best that I can right now? And that's something that I had to realize. Whenever I was not a mom, before I was a mom, I would wake up at 4, and I'd go to the gym for an hour, and then I would go to work and everything, and then we would go on a walk after dinner. So we were just like, working out all the time and everything. But whenever I became a mom, I had this newborn who was on her little sleep schedule and everything. And so I realized, oh gosh, I can't go to the gym at this time because I don't have childcare, and I can't do this because that's when she's sleeping. And so I had to figure out how to fit in what I needed to, get my exercise in and everything while I was doing the best that I could as a new mom. And so there are some times where we have to look and say, am I doing the best that I can? And if you're doing the best that you can, given what circumstances are going on, then release that guilt and saying, you're doing a good job. Life is tough, and sometimes life isn't perfect, and we're not perfect. And so think about that. Think about how you can release some of that guilt by just saying, hey, does this align with my values? And hey, am I doing the best that I can right now? And so those 2 questions will honestly help you release a lot of guilt. Now, sometimes I was talking to Adam and I was thinking like, am I doing the best that I can when I'm on vacation? And sometimes that's just that, for lunch, maybe if I'm on vacation, we won't go out to eat, and we'll eat at the, hotel or condo or whatever, and have one healthy meal a day. So you can like fit this within, being a healthy mom. And, am I doing the best that I can so that I don't feel guilty whenever I get home? Or am I doing the best that I can today so that I don't feel guilty whenever Monday rolls around and I don't want to gain weight over the weekend and everything. So think about that. Am I doing the best that I can with what aligns with what matters to me and what is important to me? And if that's being a healthy mom, again, it looks different for everyone. But some of that is just having a good, solid foundation of healthy habits that you do no matter what. And that's what I'm a big fan of. And then the last thing is, am I comparing my real life to someone else's highlight reel? Because we all follow these people on social media. You're obviously watching this video, so you're following me. I'm the first to say that I'm not perfect. I am trying to do the best that I can. But are you comparing your real life to someone's highlight reel? Because if you do that, you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't really know, and so that's something that you just have to say, okay, I really don't know. Maybe they do, have a midnight snack that they don't post about or something like that. So you can think about, again, don't let that comparison game rob you of your joy and bring guilt that you don't live up to their highlight reel, because no one lives up to the highlight reel. So think about that. Think about how, and it's summer, so you may not be experiencing any sort of mom guilt right now because you're just living the life. But I know that so many people who want to be the best mom that they can be, because that's honestly what I want to be. I want to be the best mom that I can be, not the best mom that, Susan can be or whatever, because I'll never be a Susan. And so think about that. Think about what your values are, what aligns with you and what you want to become. And then, think about, am I doing the best that I can do today? And if you're doing your best, give yourself a star, give yourself a high five, and then just release some of that guilt that you may be holding on to whenever you're comparing your real life to someone else's highlight reel. So let me know what you think about this. Have you experienced mom guilt? And have you ever felt guilt associated with trying to be healthy and trying to be a healthy mom? And is that a real thing? I want to know.